This is Donna, and we are at Cincinnati, Ohio, at the International Christian Retail Show. It's been a long day. Shayne has been gracious enough to be our last interview for the day, so I'm sure she's exhausted. The floor out there is amazing, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be showing you some of the great products that are out there. But Shayne is going to share with us a little bit about the book Everbloom, and then kind of tell us a little bit about her story. So go ahead.
Yeah. So my name is Shayne Moore, and I am the co-editor of the book Everbloom: Stories of Living Deeply Rooted and Transformed Lives by the women of Redbud Writers Guild. And I co-founded Redbud a while ago. Redbud is a group of Christian women writers, and we've been around in one format or another for almost 10 years. And so, yeah, and I will say that Redbud, really the vision for Redbud to kind of, one of the things that as women writers, not only do we feel a call of writing on our lives, but we really write with a purpose, and we write to create change and to create influence. And so, and that looks really different. We have a lot of diverse women writing about a lot of different things. For me personally, my heart broke on some issues of social justice issues, and so it's been such a blessing in my own personal writing, and then being able to be a part of a guild where we really share that common vision to write for change, write for transformation. And that's also what the collection is about. It's about our own transformational stories.
So I know at the end of each chapter you kind of had a purpose, so kind of share how they ended each of the chapters.
Yeah, we're a community of writers, and one of our biggest passions is to create a safe place to invite women to use their voice. And that's my own personal story. It was, when I was confronted with the HIV/AIDS pandemic in sub-Saharan Africa, and my piece in Everbloom talks about this, I felt like I could do absolutely nothing. It was a problem that was so far away, and thankfully so much has changed in 15 years. But at that time, I had very small children. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I just remember being at the kitchen sink and thinking, my voice is so small. Like, there's nothing I can do. But thankfully my story didn't end there, and I kept educating myself, and I ended up going to Kenya, and I just kept after it, because this thing that was breaking the heart of God had broken my heart. And so really that same concept trickles into the Everbloom book of we want to be a place of invitation, that you have a voice. It's not just the Redbud writers who wrote in the book. We want you, we are sharing transparently our stories of struggle and transformation. And then at the end of every chapter or selection, there's a prayer, and then there's a writing prompt or a journaling prompt, because we're a group of writers. And so we just thought that would be really fun to reach out to women and say, join your story to our story, and write. You are invited to write. You are invited to tell your story.
Oh, that is great. That is great. So, so I saw where it was written, it's dedicated to the women who have not yet found their freedom in Christ. So kind of share what that means to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty, packed sentence, but, I think that women live very complicated lives. We wear a lot of hats, we have a lot of roles, and sometimes life can get very, very busy, and, what is your real identity? What is your real calling or vocation? And so, that looks very different for all different people. And so, we dedicated that book to women who, because sometimes, well, I would go so far maybe to say that every time finding your freedom is telling your story, is being heard. So it's dedicated to those women, that still need to tell their story.
So if you had one piece of advice to give to a woman out there who is wanting to tell her story and wanting to write, what would you give to her to get started?
Just sit down at the chair and start writing. I know it's so basic, and yes, I am an ex-English teacher, so that might be also coming out, but it's really true. I mean, we talk about this in the Guild a lot, that especially if you're a Christian and a woman of faith, that if you feel a call to write on your life, that writing, it's actually a spiritual discipline. Actually taking the discipline every day to write something. It doesn't matter, write a paragraph, write, just even if it's horrible, it doesn't matter. Just start writing, and hey, you could use Everbloom Everbloom. There's writing prompts. You don't even have to think that hard. On the floor, a guy was like, "Oh, little journaling prompts at the end," and I said, "Yeah, what's one woman's journal entry is another woman's novel. So just start writing."
Very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, if you missed our interview on Facebook Live, go back to our Facebook page at More Than Review, and you'll be able to hear some more of Shayne's stories. Thank you.